Oh my gosh. Hi. This is the third video in our video on the 3 S's, and this video covers the first S. And like always, I'm going to get started with some questions. It's Sunday, the Broncos are playing, and the wide receiver, he's just not doing it. The coach is PO'd, the Broncos are losing, and so what's the coach gonna do with that wide receiver? Sub him out, right? If I got sick, a sub would come into the school, and what would they be doing? Well, they would replace me for the day, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they? And so the wide receiver, when they get subbed out, what is the new wide receiver doing? Well, they're replacing that other player on the field. And so sub, getting subbed out, substitute teachers, substitution is our first S. And substitute means replace something with a thing of equal value. In algebra, when we substitute, we replace something with another thing that has the same value. And these are the 3 S's. Can you believe it? Substitute, simplify, solve. And we're usually going to take care of our algebra work in that order. Substitute, simplify, solve. Say it with me. Substitute, simplify, solve. I don't know if you will, but that's okay. Let's, like always, work some examples. And we'll start substituting in example 1 with this equation. 3x plus 10x plus 5 minus 1 equals 30. That equation should seem familiar, right? Where did you see that equation before? See if you can recall that. We also have some extra information here. We know that x equals 2. And so, when it comes time to do our work, we're going to substitute everywhere that we see an x, we're going to put 2 instead. 3 times 2 plus 10 times 2 plus 5 minus 1 equals 30, and stop. That is our substitution step. If all we have to do is substitute, we're done. Substitute is just to replace a value with something of equal value. Let's try our next example. Example 2, 7x plus 9 equals 3x plus 1, and we know that x equals 1. So, in order to substitute, everywhere we see an x in our other equation, we're going to replace it with 1 because we know x equals 1. So 7 times 1 plus 9 equals 3 times 1 plus 1. And I have a question for you. Is 1 the solution to this equation? Why don't you take some time, try and figure that out, and then meet us as we proceed. Okay, we're on example 3 now, and in example 3 we have to substitute and simplify. Whew. And we have ourselves a complicated expression, but we know how to substitute, so we can take care of this. We know how to simplify, so we can take care of that too. Let's get into it. Everywhere I see an x in my equation here, I'll replace it with 1 because we know x equals 1. 2 times 1 squared plus 3 times 1 plus 5 equals negative 1 minus 1 squared plus 8. That's our substitution. Let's start to simplify with PEMDAS. So we'll take a look at our parentheses. Well, here's some, but we just have numbers in here. There's no work to do inside of these parentheses. So we'll move on to our other side of the equation. And we have parentheses here that give us some simplify instructions. 1 minus 1. What is 1 minus 1? 0. So 2 times 1 squared plus 3 times 1 plus 5 equals negative 0 squared plus 8. That was our first step in simplifying. We're done with our parentheses. So let's move on to exponents. I see an exponent here, and I see an exponent here. So let's take care of that. 1 squared is 1 times 1, and anything times 1 is just itself, so 1 times 1 is 1, plus 3 times 1 plus 5. None of this changed, so we just rewrite it. Negative 0 times 0, well, anything times 0 is 0, plus 8. And we're done with our exponents. Now, let's look for multiplication and division at the same time, going from left to right. 2 times 1, oh, that's multiplication. 2 times 1, again, anything times 1 is itself, so that's 2. Plus 3 times 1, oh, and that's 3. Plus 5 equals, well, negative 0, we'll leave that by itself, plus 8. And that's all of our multiplication and division. And finally, we'll do adding and subtracting. Remember, add from left to right, subtract from left to right. 2 plus 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5. And 5 plus 5, I know that's 10. 10 equals negative 0 plus 8. Well, 0 can't be positive or negative, so we'll just think of it as 0 plus 8. And 0 plus 8 is 8. And so this simplified to 10 equals 8. I have a question. Is x equals 1 the solution to this equation? Think about it, you let me know. Those are our 3 S's: substitute, simplify, solve. And here we substituted and then simplified. Have yourself a great day. Ask me any questions you have about substitute, simplify, solve, the 3 S's, and I'm more than happy to sit and chat about anything else. Yeah?